Oprah Winfrey built an empire worth billions and inspired millions for decades, but 2024 proved to be a year of intense scrutiny. She notably paid a seven-figure amount to Apple TV Plus to stop her own documentary directed by Oscar winner Kevin McDonald from airing. The documentarian had refused to remove scenes that reportedly showed her as overly controlling or egotistical, leading Oprah to buy back the entire film to keep it hidden. That same year, a $1 million payment to her company, Harpo Productions, from the Kamala Harris political campaign, raised questions about its purpose, despite her team claiming it was for production costs, and Oprah publicly stating she wasn't paid a cent. The year also saw a massive stock crash when she exited the board of Weight Watchers in February after admitting to using weight loss drugs like Ozempic. The timing was disastrous. She donated her shares to charity, but the company's stock dropped by 70% overnight, from over $20 to $2.80, causing many investors to lose money. These incidents, critics suggest, reveal a pattern behind the charity work and smiles that people are starting to notice, prompting a closer look at the side of Oprah the cameras never showed. Born on January 29, 1954, in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, Oprah's arrival coincided with a brutal winter storm. She weighed just 5 lb and 7 oz. Her mother, Bernita Lee, was only 18, unmarried, and worked as a maid for only $50 a week. Oprah was first named Orpah after a biblical woman, but the name was changed on papers because people consistently mispronounced it as Oprah. Her father, Vernon Winfrey, a coal miner and later a barber, learned of her birth through a newspaper clipping Verita mailed him asking for baby clothes. Her birth came 1 year before Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat in a still segregated America, where black families like hers were stuck in poverty. At just 6 months old, her mother left for Milwaukee seeking a better job, also making only $50 a week as a maid. Oprah stayed behind with her strict grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee, in a wooden house on a pig farm with no electricity or water. Oprah wore dresses made from potato sacks, earning her the nickname Sack Girl from other children at church. While Hattie Mae would hit her with tree switches for spilling water or making too much noise, she also taught Oprah to read at age 3 using Bible flashcards and got her into school early. Her only doll was a dried corn cob wrapped in old rags, a stark reminder of their poverty. When Oprah turned 6, her grandmother became too sick to care for her, forcing Oprah to move to Milwaukee with her mother, who by then had 2 more children, Patricia, born 1959, and Jeffrey, born 1960. The new home was a crowded, loud, tiny apartment in the city. One night, after moving in with a light-skinned man who didn't want Oprah there, she was told to sleep on a sofa outside on the porch. Freezing and alone, she felt unwanted and unprotected, realizing for the first time that a girl like her wasn't safe in a world full of men. At 9 years old, a period of intense trauma began when her 19-year-old cousin raped her while she was visiting family. The abuse continued for 5 years straight, from age 9 to 14, at the hands of her uncle and a family friend, a period she called soul murder. She didn't speak about this secret pain until she was 24, and when she finally told her family in 1986, they didn't believe her, a disbelief that hurt her even more. At 14, she became pregnant and hid it until her ankles swelled up. She gave birth early, and the baby, whom she was never allowed to hold or name at the time, died soon after. In 2016, she revealed she had named him Canaan, a Hebrew word meaning new land or new life. The loss of her son became the pivotal reason she vowed to change her life and escape her circumstances. That same year, 1968, she was sent to live with her father, Vernon, in Nashville. He imposed strict rules requiring her to write book reports every day, get good grades, and follow a curfew. Oprah credits her father with saving her, suggesting she could have ended up in jail otherwise.
She skipped grades and began excelling in school, and at age 17 in 1971, she won a speaking contest with a poem called Thank God for Daddies. The prize was a trip to a local radio station, WVOL, where her voice impressed them enough to hire her as a newsreader for $35 a week while she was still a high school student. She also won the local beauty pageant, Miss Fire Prevention 1971, becoming the first black woman to do so. However, when she tried to enter a local club to celebrate, she was stopped because it was whites only, an experience that solidified her desire to go into journalism not just to be seen, but to tell the truth. In 1973, at age 19, she became the first black woman to anchor the news on a Nashville TV station, earning $15,000 a year. But her superiors kept saying she was too emotional and cried too easily, connecting too much with the stories. In 1975, she dropped out of Tennessee State University, one credit shy of finishing, to work full-time in TV. By 1976, at 22, she took a new job at WJZ-TV in Baltimore. The station disliked her hair, which they said was too thick for the blue screen. A chemical perm she was sent to get burned her scalp, causing her hair to fall out and scabs to form, leading to deep humiliation she tried to hide with gel. The breaking point came while reporting a child abuse case on live TV. She began crying, unable to separate her past from the news. Producers called her unprofessional and demoted her to small weekend segments. After just 7.5 months, she was fired in 1977 for being unfit for TV news, with a producer later revealing the real reason was that she was too black for their mold. The rejection led to her gaining weight, hitting 200 pounds, and feeling like a failure, starting a decades-long cycle of trying to change her body for acceptance. Strangely, the firing led to a new opportunity, a small, dead-end talk show called People Are Talking. Sitting next to host Richard Scher, Oprah was allowed to be herself, crying and laughing with guests, which resonated with viewers, and the ratings began to climb. This was the start of something massive. In late 1983, Dennis Swanson, running WLS-TV in Chicago, took a bold step and hired the 29-year-old black woman from Baltimore for just $30,000 a year. Her show, AM Chicago, launched on January 2, 1984, initially with so little interest that staff and strangers were begged to sit as an audience. Within a month, however, her unique ability to listen and connect changed everything. The show went from dead last to number 1 in Chicago, even beating Phil Donahue. On September 8, 1986, her new program went national as The Oprah Winfrey Show, launching in 138 markets. The show quickly doubled Donahue's ratings, and within 2 years, she had 12 million people watching every week. She won her first daytime Emmy in 1988, the same year she finally returned to college to get her degree, having already won 3 Emmys. That fame brought controversy. In November 1988, she wheeled a red wagon filled with 67 pounds of animal fat onto the stage, representing the weight she'd lost on a 5-month liquid diet, a stunt she later called her biggest mistake for promoting starvation. Behind the scenes, she also battled a secret, admitting in 1995 that she had used cocaine in her 20s while in a toxic relationship in Baltimore. This was also the time she began therapy for childhood abuse. Believing her success came from divine timing. In 1986, she founded Harpo Productions, Oprah spelled backward, becoming the first black woman to own a major multimedia company. By 1988, Harpo bought full control of her show from ABC, turning it into a $100 million business and making her the owner and producer. Her influence grew exponentially in 1996 when she launched her book club. The first pick, The Deep End of the Ocean, saw sales jump from 68,000 copies to 700,000. Over the next 14 years, her picks sold over 55 million copies combined, but one study found her choices unintentionally caused overall fiction book sales to drop by 2.5% as readers prioritized her selections. Another firestorm erupted in April 1996 after an episode on dangerous foods, where she declared on air, "I'll never eat another hamburger," after learning cows were being fed the remains of other cows. Texas cattlemen sued her for over $10 million, claiming her words caused beef prices to crash. The 6-week trial in Amarillo, Texas, in 1998, ended with Oprah winning the case, a ruling upheld on appeal in 2000. In February 1993, her live interview with Michael Jackson at Neverland Ranch was watched by 90 million people, one of the most watched interviews in television history. However, critics later blamed Oprah for helping to clean up Jackson's image just before child sexual abuse accusations hit 6 months later. Oprah also used her platform for social change, bringing Anita Hill onto her show in 1992 after Hill's testimony against Clarence Thomas, which later saw the number of harassment complaints double. The tension of her public and private life continued. In 1998, her film adaptation of Toni Morrison's Beloved, which she starred in and produced, failed at the box office and was completely snubbed by the Oscars. Years earlier, her role in The Color Purple, 1986, which earned her an Oscar nomination, had also been snubbed, creating a quiet tension with the winner, Angelica Houston, whom Oprah reportedly never invited onto her show. In 2007, her dream of opening the $40 million Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for girls in South Africa was shattered when a dorm matron was accused of abusing students. The matron was cleared in 2010, but Oprah called it the most devastating experience of my life. The school itself was criticized by the South African government and others as being too fancy and luxurious, more like a hotel for poor children, fueling a white savior critique of her charity work, despite her donating over $400 million to various causes over time. In 2011, she launched the OWN cable network with a $315 million investment from Discovery, but it was a disaster, losing $330 million in just 2 years and causing Oprah's net worth to drop by $125 million. She admitted to having a nervous breakdown, and the work culture became toxic, leading to 200 staff firings. The network was saved in 2013 when Tyler Perry stepped in. His dramas brought in massive viewership and $85 million in ad money. However, Oprah felt spiritually empty, calling the show's sex, violence, and drug storylines as selling of her soul when Discovery overruled her. In 2012, a scandal also hit when a production assistant sued OWN, claiming he had been sexually harassed by male staff members. The lawsuit claimed the network lacked basic HR training and vetting for its over 400 contractors, and the case was settled quietly in 2013 for an estimated $1.88 million plus legal fees. Oprah's political influence became clear in 2007 when her public support for Barack Obama was later calculated by economists to have secured him over 1 million extra votes in the Democratic primary. Despite having a friendly relationship with Donald Trump in the 1980s and 1990s, he even suggested her as a VP candidate in 1999. Their friendship ended by 2016 when she publicly supported Hillary Clinton and called Trump dangerous. In 2020, she backed out as executive producer of a documentary about Russell Simmons and his accusers just 15 days before its Sundance premiere, claiming the film wasn't ready. And her troubles didn't end in 2024. In July 2025, her $6.6 million ranch on Maui became a controversy after an earthquake triggered tsunami warnings. Online posts claimed she blocked an emergency road passing through her property, forcing residents to take dangerous mountain roads, though her team later claimed she worked with law enforcement to open the road to 50 vehicles at a time. The same year, in March 2025, she was subpoenaed in Russell Simmons' defamation case, as lawyers sought emails and notes, believing she knew more about the story than she let on. Health problems hit in June 2024 when a severe stomach virus hospitalized her with dehydration, prompting retirement rumors. Also in 2025, author James Frey, whom she confronted on her show in 2006 for making up parts of his memoir, reignited their feud, publicly calling her a hypocrite and accusing her of lying to the public more than he ever did. Despite the controversies, Oprah continued her philanthropy, donating a total of $400 million across various causes by 2025, including her Oprah Winfrey Scholars Program at Morehouse College, the largest scholarship fund in the school's history.